Today on the 10-12 podcast, Levi Stevenson and Joel Penfield join me to talk about the Big 12 players who made it in the top 100 of EA Sports CFB 25. We're talking overrated, underrated, and who should have been included, plus some thoughts on Big 12 Media Days, including weird start times and cats.
Desculpa a interrupção do meio tempo, mas só passei rapidinho para te lembrar que Conmebol Copa América 2024 e a UEFA Euro 2024 já estão disponíveis no EA Sports FC Mobile. Não perca tempo, vem participar desses eventos e vivenciar o melhor do futebol. Viva a emoção do verdadeiro futebol e escreva um novo capítulo nas histórias dos seus jogadores favoritos e todos os times participantes. EA Sports FC Mobile, o jogo de todo mundo no seu bolso. Participe e jogue agora. Inclui compras opcionais dentro do jogo, inclui itens aleatórios.
O que acende a sua vontade de começar algo? Tem uma faísca em você que te chama para empreender, investir, dar novos rumos para sua vida. E para todos os seus começos, você pode contar com Santander Select. Um banco mais pessoal, mais próximo, mais humano. Um time de especialistas com olhar atento para cada momento da sua vida. Porque você sabe, só quem já deu muitos passos está pronto para continuar começando. Santander Select. Começa em você, começa agora.
Welcome to the 10-12, the podcast that covers all 16 teams in the Big 12 Conference. We are the flagship show, the 10-12 Network. Find every podcast and show in the network at 1012network.com, TE and the number 12, the word network. Of course, we are partners with Sports Social, Europe's biggest sports podcast network. So if you're listening to us from overseas, thank you very much. I'm your host, Phillip, and thank you for joining us today. This is dropping on a Thursday. The Thursday after Big 12 Media Days has wrapped. Wherever you are listening, if you are listening overseas or in the States or somewhere in a mysterious location, somewhere in the mountains that we're not supposed to know about, Parker, please do us a favor, leave 5 stars and a review. It would really help the show out, especially if you are an iTunes listener. If you're watching or listening on YouTube, please like the video and subscribe. We would greatly appreciate it. Help us reach some new Big 12 fans, because there are a lot of new Big 12 fans with 4 additional new schools in the conference now. Y'all realize that half of this conference is a new member. Like, baby member.
It feels...
Even if they're either newborn or a year old.
It does feel weird. Like, I mean, I'm honestly kind of glad they're gone, but it is a little weird not being in a conference with Oklahoma, especially. I mean, Texas to a certain extent, because they've been in the Big 12 for, basically any time I've been aware of the world around me. But it's especially weird, like not being in a conference with Oklahoma too, since I would say Oklahoma State, Kansas State, and Kansas have been in a conference together since 1900 something, since Teddy Roosevelt was president. It's like it's a little strange where half the conference is just kind of randoms that showed up to the party.
Yeah, it's weird. It's new. That voice is the voice many of you should know. He is one of the well-known voices at Wide Right Natty Light, our state representative, and a guy I'm going to have to keep a timer for, or else this podcast is going to be a 3-parter like our good friend Brian, friend of the pod, mentioned on Twitter. That is Levi Stevenson. Levi, welcome back, man.
Thank you for having me.
Always a good time. Always a good time. I also have random noises to block out F-bombs, and hopefully I don't have to use them tonight. Also here, my friend, my former Cowboys Ride for Free podcast host, and fellow lover of weird and unusual minor league baseball logos on hats is Joel Penfield.
How's it going, man? This is the first time that we've been on a podcast together since our last podcast that we did back in 2021. So this is a long time coming, and you may want to keep those animal noises available, because I am prone to doing that every once.
I thought you were going to say this was our first podcast since our last podcast, and I was
this is our first podcast since our last podcast.
Which went in great. I thought you came on to talk baseball last season.
Nope. I have tried to throw my hat in the ring multiple times, and you shut me down multiple times. So, or you ignored my text.
I don't do a lot of Big 12 baseball, and it's not because I don't like Big 12 baseball. I don't.
You know that I love other sports and I know ball about multiple sports. I can hang around with.
I know. Look, you talk Orioles, not Orioles. Sorry,
Royals.
They're the same thing.
Yeah. Look, it's not
Royals
minor
and-
league baseball. It's not minor league, so I don't care. That's just kind of how it works in my brain.
Fair
If
enough.
one of your logos is not food related or a large open mouth catfish, okay.
So
Like-
maybe if Iowa
like-
State had baseball, you'd have enough year-round listeners to finally get Joel back on the podcast to talk baseball.
Look, we go heavy into softball. Iowa State's there.
That's true. That is true.
That's what matters.
That's true.
Leah was a great co-host this season. As we mentioned, Big 12 Media Days just wrapped on Wednesday. Sons of UCF, our UCF podcast, was there in Vegas. I would suggest hitting up their YouTube page for fantastic coverage. They did an absolute great job. I did want to have, before we get to the purpose of this podcast, the name that's in the headline, which is talking about the top 100 CFB 25 players from the Big 12, overrated, underrated, not included, and should have been. I want to do a little bit of Big 12 Media Days talk. I would be remiss if we did not. I want to start, and these are like random things. We're not going to talk about Gundy. I don't really care unless you guys really, really want to. That's fine. You're welcome to. One of the things that Brett Yormark mentioned is that they are exploring new TV windows. Quote, we are taking an innovative approach exploring new TV windows. That was the quote. Likely means looking at more games during the weekdays. Let's be honest, it's probably what's going to happen. Amazon would love to have some college football lead in, lead out kind of stuff around the NFL game. I think ESPN would probably do something similar. But it really got me thinking about earlier kick times. I turned 40 this year. I have 3 small children. I'm awake at 7 a.m. every Saturday. I let my wife sleep in. I try and be a good husband. It's an easy thing. It's an easy win for me on weekend mornings. So I'm up. I'm ready to go. And look, like I said, I'm going to be 40 this year. I don't watch a ton of College Game Day. I don't watch a ton of Big Noon Saturday. I don't go to a lot of games. I don't tailgate. I'm not the only person who's like that. And so if that doesn't fit you, I understand if you're going to argue against certain things that I might say, because you do tailgate. You do have things that you want to do. You don't have kids. Like, that's all fine. I think it was a one weekend, either last season or the season before, in which there was a game that kicked off like an hour early. And I don't remember what channel it was on. And I was like, oh, give me this. Like, give me this.
I think it was
This
a
is what I want.
Pac-12 game. I think it was like a UCLA Arizona or something. It was something along that line.
I thought it was like a MAC game
It
or
might
like
have.
an American versus MAC. The point was, it's kicked off at 10 a.m. Central Time, because most games kick off at 11. And I was like, I like this. I can get behind this, because I'll have Premier League on before football games start. Like, that's what I want to have. I want to have sports on. And then if there's an actual college football game that starts early, I'm going to watch that. So as I posted on Twitter, how did Cincinnati, West Virginia, and UCF fans feel about having a game a season, a home game that would kick off an hour earlier than usual? And I got a lot of back and forth. I had some people who were for it and a lot of people who were against it. And the side who are against it are very much we tailgate, we want to do these things, we go to games. And the ones who were for it were, I'm sure, like me, like you're up watching TV, you don't care about the rest of it. So I'm curious from you guys. Initial, just general thoughts about, I'm using air quotes because podcasting is a visual medium, so you can all see this, innovative approach to exploring new TV windows, and the idea of staggering college football games in a way better, including starting earlier, like at a 10 a.m. time, God's time. Thoughts?
I'm for whatever it takes for the Big 12 to stay as relevant as possible TV and football wise, because the Big 10 and the SEC are taking up so much of the market share that if Brett Yormark feels like it is better for the Big 12 to do some of these more unorthodox, if you want to use that phrase, ways to keep, to get their games on TV at certain times, and I'm for it. It doesn't mean that it's going to work long term, but in the short term, I'm for it. What do you think, Levi?
It would be an unenthusiastic yes for me, I guess, because I am a serial tailgater. I'm there when the lots open in the morning. I am an early riser. I don't know if I could tell you the last time I slept past 6:30. I have always been an early riser. So a game starting at 7 a.m. would not bother me. But that said, it's one of those where, like, Wednesday night kicks, I live 2.5 hours away from Ames. Wednesday night kicks are tough. Like that would be, you're gonna lose home attendance on Wednesday and Thursday and Friday night. You're gonna lose a significant portion of it. I mean, granted, specific to Iowa State, a huge chunk of the fan base lives within an hour, because you're in Ames, Des Moines within an hour. So you've got a good chunk of the fan base can be there on a Wednesday night. I mean, it'd be tough. Like even if I just drove out, I'd be by myself. Like I'm not bringing the tailgate group with me or anything like that on a Wednesday night game. Like I'd make time for it. But I'm okay with doing this odd stuff in the name of if they truly believe that having a Wednesday night game or a Thursday at 4:00 game or something like that, if they think that is enough of a monetary boost to help the conference and to keep it going, I guess fine. I'm okay with it. I don't love it because I think there's you can only do that to a certain point where it kind of just becomes a gimmick, and then the Big 12 kind of becomes a joke. Because it's like, oh, this is the conference that plays at 1:00 on a Tuesday or whatever, stuff like you don't want to be that. You don't want to be that. The Big 10 and the SEC are not moving around windows, partially because they don't have to, because they're who they are. But there's also an air of legitimacy to all of your games happening on Saturday, because that's the day that is the United States of America's day for college football. That is Saturday. And then there's also a random MAC game on Wednesday or some shit. Like don't do it to the point where you start having diminishing returns. If you can do it and make it effective, and maybe there's one game a week, like one game a week that is on a Thursday or something like that. Fine. I don't think that's a big sacrifice to ask the conference members to make. I mean, ADs are going to hate throwing a football game on a Thursday. Sucks. It's hard for everybody. Whatever. I don't think that one game a week is a huge deal. If you start going to like 2 or 3, or you have guys, you're starting like at 4:00 on a midweek game, I think that is only interesting twice. Beyond that, I think it turns into a gimmick. And I don't need to go on a huge tangent, but I think Brett Yormark he's very insistent on towing this line between being innovative and being gimmicky. He's very much tiptoeing the line, and sometimes he's one way or the other, but this feels like one of those where you're right on the line.
And I'll give him credit for this. I do think that they are willing to pivot if something's not working, or if they believe it's not going to work. Look at Big 12 Mexico. It was supposed to be men's basketball and football, and now it's women's soccer and baseball. Like that's the conversation that they had.
And the flexibility there is great. Yeah, the flexibility there is great. And
I'm sure there's going to be conversations with this, because this stuff is ever changing. Like this stuff is going to be ever changing. And if they start to get too close to being weird, and it's like, this isn't going to work and it's not going to make money and no one's going to, then they're going to pull back from it, I think. So like, I'm fine with trying things. And if it doesn't work out, like, okay, like I'm not going to get pissed at Yormark for trying things and them failing. The idea that he's going to he's going to go 20 for 20 from beyond the arc is ridiculous. Like you're going to miss some shots. That's okay. I'd still rather you take shots, because you have to take shots. You've got to get sell the naming rights for the conference. You're going to have to do these things. So I would still rather do 100 of these weird things than do private equity, which is what's going to happen. But I'd still.
It would depend on what it is. Like I wouldn't want to be called like the All-State Conference, but if it's the All-State Big 12 Conference, I have no problem with that.
Totino's 12.
Yeah,
is a great name.
Yeah, we've thought of a bunch of them. Bunch of those interesting ones. I mean, like putting a sponsor before Big 12 wouldn't bother me one bit.
It's weird that the 12 has the value. Okay. One other thing he kind of mentioned and didn't really get much buzz was a Big 12 fast channel. I don't think everybody understands what that is. I know what that is because I work in marketing and deal with OTT placement. OTT is called over the top. That is when you're selling digital ads on platforms. Typically, OTT, it works for all platforms, but more often than not, you're really focused on places where ads are going to run and they can't be skipped because there's less value in them being able to be skipped. YouTube TV is super expensive to put ads on, and there's less value on it, but whatever. It's a perception thing, Hulu as well. Fast Channel is a free ad service television. So it's basically TV. It is like TV. It's TV, but it's on an app on your streaming service, like Tubi and Pluto. Those are the two that people typically recognize and are aware of. That's all he mentioned it. But it's interesting to me that the conference, who has never gone with having a Big 12 network, The Big Ten had their network. SEC's network is ESPN. Pac-12 network is, blew up. ACC has their channels because it's a partnership with the one power conference has never had a network. Considering a fast channel is interesting to me because it is an idea of like, we're going to have something that is widely available for free for anybody who has a streaming box and wants to download that app. You can download it and watch the Big 12 content. And I also like this concept. You're not going to make a ton of money off the ad sales. You're not. You're going to make some additional funds. Again, I'd rather you have 100 different wacky ideas. The thing for me that intrigues me about this is I have been hungry for Big 12 content outside of games for a while, and I'm not the only person, I know this, who you turn on ESPN, you're going to get the SEC channel, the SEC network, they're got SEC content all the time. ACC's got ACC content. There hasn't been good Big 12 content beyond the games.
I like what Big Ten
really
does.
Seeks to discuss and elevate and do basically the kinds of things like us podcasters want to do, but with voices who carry far more weight than the three of us here on this show do tonight, because I've also felt like the Big 12 has struggled to get strong voices in the media, and I'm really concerned now because a lot of the loudest ones are all OU alum and will be following OU to the SEC. So the idea of having something that produces original and intriguing Big 12 content that is free to everyone and anyone who wants to have it is something that I am on board with, at least, again, giving a shot to.
Well, let it be
Thoughts
kind of
from
like
you guys?
let it be kind of the Big Ten network where they show like they do an hour-long documentary on Big Ten legend Tommy Frazier or some shit. Like I'm looking for. I want to see like a whole hour-long special about like Big 12 legend Jenny Finch or something like that.
Which is funny.
Did you see? Did you see that they like have this like alumni council now?
Yes,
Jenny Finch is on there. Did you see there's one name on there that is fucking hilarious to me. Kevin Youkilis is Cincinnati's representative.
That's awesome.
Hilarious. That is,
I love that.
That is the funniest possible name. Like, we'd be like, oh, Travis Kelce's on the alumni. No, Kevin Youkilis. That's
World Series champion Kevin Youkilis.
I propose that he can only attend meetings though if he's consistently doing his batting stance while delivering any message.
He must.
He has to do any batting stance.
Phillip, are you familiar with Kevin Youkilis's batting stance?
I'm not familiar.
It's the most disgusting
Google
shit.
it while we talk.
Right.
Kevin Youkilis's batting stance is the most disgusting shit you've ever seen.
But he was the Greek god of walks. That was his thing.
That's a Moneyball quote right there.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
But no, I think this is a very interesting aspect and angle to it. And there's multiple ways to go about it, and it could involve, getting. Phillip is very confused right now. So what is happening?
It's weird because his hands are like 6 inches apart on the bat, and then as he swings through, the hand comes down. It's the strangest thing.
Hey, he spent like 12 years.
It works.
In the show,
I mean, he had a better career than I did.
Yeah, but no, this
I look at it and just go, "Ole."
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly right.
I don't have much more to add than what you guys said.
Yeah,
I think this is a very interesting, and I want to see more information about it before I really form too much of an opinion. It's tough to take too much from your Mark just saying this is something we're looking at.
My only question are we too late to this? Because we are now starting to circle back around to people going back to cable. We're not that far away from circling back around to traditional TV packages. I mean, we're all like, streaming apps will always exist. They're never going to go away. But
it costs as much as cable at this point.
Right. It costs as much as cable, and they're starting to merge now. I mean, Disney and Hulu are together, which means that I'm sure at some point ESPN will be merged in with that and stuff like that. Like they talked
about that ESPN, Fox.
Yeah.
Like
it'll be
NBC,
ESPN,
CBS,
NBC, like sports.
But
and
once you have
package.
all of those networks together, basically everything's already around. Like the only thing you're missing at that point is like Turner, which is March Madness or whatever. So we're already circling back towards traditional cable anyways. Would the Big 12 be a little too late to this coming in to make this is a Big 12 network. We're going to show all sorts of Big 12 games you can find. And when we're not showing games, we're going to show all sorts of interesting produced content. Like I said, like little documentaries about classic teams or classic games or classic players.
I would rather them give it a shot than sit on their hands and not have it.
Sure.
So if they give it a shot and then it flops because people start moving in the other direction, then I know that your mark's going to find a way to pivot off of it. And try and find an angle there. It's not like
I'd be curious to see what's
they're
involved.
sinking all their eggs in one basket.
I'd have to imagine that the startup costs of that are probably not small. So because you'd have to get production teams and things. You'd have to get production teams and editing crews and things like that in there. I mean, it's probably not just a, 2 guys in a trailer type of thing. I mean, you're going to need to hire an entire team of people. There's going to be startup costs and stuff like that. I mean, this is kind of off in the weeds, but it's an interesting concept. Like I said, there's always this point where you're starting to tiptoe the line between interesting, innovative idea or gimmicky. And this one feels on the side of the line, of the innovative side of the line, or at least an effective side of the line, or whatever you want to call it. But we'll see. We'll see how it, if it comes to fruition, we'll have to see what it looks like, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, at worst, it's an additional value property for your media partners or your advertising partners.
Right.
And it's another thing to sell them and say, oh, by the way, you're going to have ads running.
It's more, it's more ad space. Yeah.
Like, get ready for the same 5 commercials every commercial break.
Yeah.
Which is,
but I mean, they're creating ad space out of thin air by doing that.
Yes. Okay. Last thing, Arizona announced an alternate helmet that they'll be wearing this season that has cursive cats down the side of it. Mind you, Kansas State also has a helmet with cursive cats down the side of it that has been worn in the past. And if we do not get a cat fight with both those helmets on the field in Manhattan later this fall, I think we will all be very, very disappointed in them not taking advantage of this. And again, I love this. I want this. And this feeds back into the whole notion of this conversation of like, we have 8 teams in this conference who are new. 4 have been in here already for a year. Cool. They're still new. You have 4 brand new. Yeah, Colorado was here years ago. It's been a while. There are a lot of opportunities for new relationships and rivalries and feuds to build. We're already seeing Houston and Arizona State fans arguing with each other about who started a hand signal first. And I'm like, yes, give me that.
That's what we need.
But find something original. You guys have been fighting with Texas Tech forever about the damn guns up thing.
This is what we need. Like, this is the kind of petty. At least Arizona and Arizona State are getting into things. West Virginia still doesn't want to have any sort of like argument with anybody about anything. They just get mad that they don't get to play Pitt every year. So at least 2 of the new schools coming in are like, well, yeah, let's start some shit. I love that Arizona is going to be like, but this is what I need. I need this. I need this kind of like petty, feudy stuff, because if you can at least get that stuff going, then when you get to the games and things happen, now you actually get real rivalries and arguments and things that start to form. And as much as I love the, I can pick on my brother and you can go F yourself relationship that has formed in this new Big 12, thanks to, the Athletic and media who all came with the Big 12 about telling them that they're terrible now the Pac-12's gone. Like, we still need to build up some more animosity. And look, everyone's right. BYU Utah is going to be absolutely incredible that is now not just a conference rivalry game. It's a conference rivalry game in the Big 12 conference. Yeah. We've got to keep building Farmageddon, but we've got to get some more. I'm still going to call it Revivalry. I don't care what flower name, bonnet, ladies headwear you want to call Baylor TCU. We're going to call it the Revivalry. Like, we need more of this in the Big 12 because it's going to be good internally and it's going to be great externally. So if I'm your mark, I'm telling Arizona and Kansas State right now, you're both wearing your Cats helmets. You're both going to wear your Cats helmets because everyone's going to talk about that. It's going to make a game that should already be pretty interesting even more so. You're both wearing the stupid Cats helmets. We're going to call it a cat fight and we're going to market the crap out of it.
We need, the only next step now is cartoonishly hilarious trophies like the Big Ten has, just between random rivalries. We just need to make that happen.
Old wooden bucket. Yes. I mean, there's arbitrary things in a closet and turn it into a trophy.
There's one very obvious rivalry in the conference that absolutely needs to be a trophy. And I know you guys know which one I'm going to say. It's Farmageddon. Yes. Farmageddon must be a trophy game, and the trophy must be one big ass tractor that gets driven back and forth every time. It's half red, it's half purple, and the winner drives that bitch home. That's exactly what we're doing.
Everyone's on board for this except for one athletic director.
Yeah, it's definitely Jamie Pollard because he hates fun like it's his job.
I thought you were going to say the Rich Rod Trophy, which is really just a piñata with Rich Rod's face on both sides for when West Virginia and Arizona play each other, and the winner gets to break open the piñata at the end every time that they play.
Yeah.
I've made up so many dumb trophies. The Kansas State Arizona is literally just a giant cat scratch pole with a trophy base at the bottom. What we're gonna do?
We need to get Mizzou back in the Big 12 so that way we can actually have a legit trophy game in the conference again. Most people, people may or may not be aware, but Iowa State and Mizzou is a trophy game for the Bell Telephone Trophy. It has since been dormant since 2011 or whatever the last game was, when Blaine Gabbert came to Jack Trice Stadium and beat Iowa State. But that would be the only trophy game in the conference right now. It's disappointing.
Phillip, your homework assignment is to come up with an Oklahoma State Utah trophy for Mike Gundy versus Kyle Whittingham, which is going to be a 13-10 rock fight in BPS this year.
I don't.
Can we just have a punter? Can there just be a punter?
How about Kyle Whittingham saying that somebody's going to be in the chair at media days, but maybe not him? It was like 2027. I think someone was asking about the 2027 one or something, like media days. He's like, someone will be here. It might not be me, but it's somebody will be here.
If it's not me, it'll be my defensive coordinator who's already been named the interim head coach,
it's like,
which you only do when you know your head coach is not long for that job.
Right.
It felt for a while like he might just be transitioning to the Big 12 and getting them set up, and then he'll
just
run off
go off into the sunset. Yeah.
Also sets up like Utah winning the Big 12 in year one, so he can ride off into glory.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Kansas will win it next year, and then Leopold will retire. And
no, he'll take the Wisconsin job.
My absolute hell is he takes the Wisconsin job and then Chris Kleiman takes the Iowa job. That's my hell. I don't want no part of that. Yeah.
There's too much money at K-State for Kleiman to leave. I just don't think it's going to happen.
I don't think you understand how much money Iowa has.
They have
lots of money.
Iowa has few money. Like, that's the problem.
And if you just showed up and score a touchdown, they'll love you immediately.
That's
Chris
true.
Kleiman. I regret to inform you that Chris Kleiman would probably kill it at Iowa, and it would be it would be incredibly annoying.
Yeah, he would do great. He will do great wherever he goes.
But maybe he doesn't have that much long left. Who knows?
Speaking of doing great wherever they go, our good friends at Charlie Hustle, sponsors here of the 1012 podcast and the 1012 network as a whole, has been just dropping straight heat. Does the kids still say that? Do they say I don't know. Again,
not really.
No, I don't.
I'm going to be 40 this year, so I can do whatever the hell I want. I'm a father of 3. You can't hurt me. Okay, let me just put it that way. There's nothing you can say or do.
You want to bet? I got a clip of Brandon Weeden staring at a field goal post. If you want me to play that,
still can't hurt. I have 3 kids, 5 and under. You cannot hurt me. Look, forget the fact that the Big 8 Roadshow was absolutely awesome and dropped some fantastic vintage stuff for every Big 8 school. Levi knows that Iowa State gear was real good. The OSU stuff. Now special. They've got all 4 corner 4 on there. They'd already had Colorado gear, but they got stuff for Arizona State, and Utah on the site now. The U of A tee for Arizona with the old school Wildcat with the hat is an absolutely awesome shirt. I love it. The ASU Sun Devil shirt with like the desert in the background in the ASU is absolutely awesome. And I love the old school like Sun Devil, actual like devil logo on their t-shirt. The stuff that they have dropped is great. They have new bombers for all the Big 8 schools. They've been dropping fantastic stuff. And I will tell you right now, there is more to come as we continue to get closer to football season. They dropped a little graphic that on the Cincinnati image had the girl in a shirt that is not currently available on the site. Because I know Cincinnati fans were like, can we get a little bit more? We've only got a couple options here. I know there's more Cincinnati gear coming. So what you need to remember is to use the promo code 101215, TEN1215. It gets you 15% off all non-sale items. So all this new gear that's dropping, you're like, I want that one, I want that one, I want that one, I want that one. Perfect. Load it in your cart. Use that promo code 101215, TEN1215. Get 15% off all non-sale items. Stuff's selling out. I went in and I was like, I'm going to go today. I'm finally going to go buy my green Big 8 conference t-shirt because it's awesome and they're sold out and they're going to order more. So within the next couple weeks, they'll have it reloaded. I can get myself the large that I need because my weight fluctuates a lot. I feel like Oprah nowadays. It's like I'm skinny, I'm fat, I'm skinny, I'm fat, I'm skinny, I'm fat. It's fine. Look, go to charliehustle.com. Use that promo code, shop the incredible gear, get yourself ready for the season. It will be here sooner than you think, so don't wait. Go shop now. Or you're just like, no, I want to see what else is coming. That's fine. Just remember that promo code. All right.
Precisa ferir a pressão, medir a glicemia ou tomar uma vacina? Na Raia tem exames, testes e calendário vacinal completo. E o que é melhor, tem sempre uma Raia aí perto de você. É fácil, prático e rápido. Dá para ir entre uma música e outra. Procure nossos farmacêuticos. Quanto mais você conhece o que a gente faz na Raia, mais você se cuida.
I mean, the biggest thing of this summer, is EA Sports College Football 25. This thing has been years in the making, years in the waiting. I'm going to let you all in on a little secret. I never played the game before. I was not a big sports video game guy. I'd rather play like Donkey Kong and RPG and say, look, you can, the look Levi's giving me is, I played Tony Hawk and stuff. It's just not my jam. It wasn't my jam. But this, I'm already like, hey, I was texting Levi, what system do I need to get? What's the cheap best option? I'm like, my wife's like, you're not going to, I'm going to use Charlie Hustle money. So I'll go buy some more t-shirts.
Are you really?
So I can buy the system in the game.
Are you really?
I'm gonna,
Phillip, if you do, you can be part of our Wide Right Natty Light staff league, which is going to be complete. You'll be the 10th member. It's going to be complete and total chaos.
And how are we picking teams?
So we're doing on Sunday night. This coming Sunday night, we're drafting teams. The only rule is you're not allowed to take a P5, and
done.
And you can. So everyone's going to be taking G5s. We're going to try to split them up so there's maybe only 2, maybe 3 per conference. Spread people out, whatever. You have to stay with G5. You can't take a job in the Power 5. You have to build them up, do whatever you got to do. That's our rules.
So I can't take OSU. I can't take a Big 12 school. That's fine.
Nope. No Power 4. Power 4.
I know who I want.
Who do you want?
I want UTSA.
Oh yeah,
Roadrunners.
Yeah, you were telling me about that. I've seen a lot of names tossed around, but that's not one of them.
If I can't get UTSA, I know it sounds crazy.
I know at least 2 of the service academies are spoken for. Well,
UTSA,
but technically
we're
also drafting them, and we're determining draft order via probably an online duck race. I don't know.
I think my first dynasty is going to be at Iowa, but I run the air raid and don't punt. But I'm running the air raid and I'm not punting, just on principle.
We're going for every 4th down.
Yes, correct. Just to watch the fans explode in the stands because they're not used to offense and the forward pass.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so details and info has been dropping. And on Wednesday, the whole reason we have this episode today is because they released the top 100 players for the game based off of rating ranking. There were 15 Big 12 players in here. I'm going to run through this list. Okay, this is available on Twitter. It's been posted everywhere. It's not hard to find. Y'all just Google EA CFB 25 top 100. There's going to be every
it's the number one trending thing on Twitter right now.
Yes. So I'm going to run through the list, and the conversation we're going to have is who do you feel like is overrated, who do you feel like is underrated, and who didn't make it that should have been on this list. I'll let you get picked. So let's run through the number. I'm gonna give you the ranking of the overall ranking of them, and I'll go in order. So number 3 overall, Oklahoma State running back Ollie Gordon with a 96 rating. Number 6 overall, Colorado wide receiver defensive back Travis Hunter with a 95 rating. 14, Arizona wide receiver. All right, I'm going to give this a shot. I've heard it pronounced at the right time, and I'm going to try and do it my best I can. Tetaroa McMillan with a 94 rating. 17 overall, Colorado quarterback Shedeur Sanders with a 93 rating. Number 34 overall, Arizona corner Tacario Davis with a 92 rating. Number 36, Texas Tech running back Taj Brooks with a 92 rating. 42 overall, Kansas running back Devin Neal with a 92 rating. 53 is Cincinnati right guard Luke Kendra with a 91 rating. 68, UCF running back RJ Harvey with a 91. 70, Cincinnati defensive tackle Dante Corleone with a 91. We have been told that he is back practicing, which is awesome news, both for him and for Cincinnati and the Big 12 as a whole. It's good to have him playing. 75 overall, Kansas cornerback Kobe Bryant at 90 with a 90 rating. 79, Kansas quarterback Jalen Daniels with a 90. Number 80 is Oklahoma State linebacker Nick Martin with a 90. Number 82 is West Virginia left tackle Wyatt Millum with a 90. And 89, Arizona right tackle Jonah Savainia. Y'all, if you're screaming at me for not knowing how to pronounce the name, spelled Savainaea, I'm real sorry.
That attempt is last
correct
name
me.
Hilarious.
Correct me. Like, you can DM us on Twitter. It's 1012 Network. It's 1012 Pod on Instagram and Threads. It's 1012podcast@gmail.com as an email address. Hit us up, and I will. You can tell me how the correct. You can give me.
I've never seen this person's name before. I'm very confident that it's Savaiinaea.
Yes, so that's what. Yep, that's what I was.
Like I said, I've never heard of this person, but I'm just looking at it. I feel like it's Savaiinaea.
All right. So now we've run through the list, and I know
cool last name.
Yeah, it is.
Very
That's
cool
awesome.
last name.
And especially when I know how to pronounce Savaiinaea, that really does like roll off the tongue.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So based off this list, guys off the list, we'll talk about them in a second. Guys on the list. Who is overrated to you on this list? Let's start with overrated, then we'll do underrated, then we'll do should have been there. I know Levi's like dancing in his chair, he's twitching, he's moving, his eyes starting to move. Levi, who's overrated?
I've got one on here that I saw this and I could not believe my damn eyes. Please tell me what on earth Jalen Daniels has done to deserve a 90 overall.
Thank you.
This is the most disgusting overrating I've ever seen in my life. One, this guy, you know that wear and tear system they're talking about? This guy's going to go to full red on all body parts with a stiff breeze. Like it's going to be like 20 mile an hour wind and the guy's like half worn out. I mean, the problem here is one, this guy has played the most games he's played in a single season is 9. He's played 9 games in a single season. Last season, he started out great. He was 70% or whatever. His opponents were Illinois, Nevada, and who gives a shit? They were playing 3 terrible teams, and he looked great against 3 absolutely terrible teams. Oh, BYU, which BYU was not good. Like he looked really good against 3 really bad teams, and he had this weird like Heisman thing. I have not seen one thing that Jalen Daniels has done in his career to deserve all the hype he gets every single damn year. He cannot stay healthy. He's turnover prone in the running game. I don't get it. I don't understand why we keep trying to make Jalen Daniels happen.
The idea of Jalen Daniels is better than Jalen Daniels.
I guess. But
that's it. Like the idea of what he is much better than what he actually has been in practice.
What this is going to be is because his speed rating is going to be pretty high on this game.
Yes,
which means he's going to be 2004 Michael Vick on this game. I guarantee you he is. Or like
until he gets hit once and then he's out for the rest of the year.
Yeah. Just be realistic here with me. Knowing his durability, I'm just using this as an example because I think he's got a fairly good reputation within the conference and people believe he's a good quarterback. Correct. Would you rather for the next 2 years have Rocco Becht or Jalen Daniels as your quarterback? Knowing Jalen Daniels' durability issues.
It's the durability swings it in Becht's favor significantly.
Yeah.
But
exactly
assuming
if it's,
all 100%
if it's healthy Rocco Becht and healthy Jalen Daniels, I'm taking Jalen Daniels.
Yes.
Fine. Sure.
Sorry.
Or whatever. And yeah, Rocco's only played 1 season or whatever, which is funny because Jalen Daniels has like 4,000 and change career passing yards through 3 seasons, and Rocco's got like 3,400 through 1 season. But
I like Rocco. That's not
no.
I know. That's just that's what I'm saying.
Jalen. That's what I'm saying though.
No, but someone's gonna be listening, going like, "You don't like Rocco."
No.
We said don't misinterpret.
So what I'm saying though is Jalen Daniels, his resume is wildly incomplete right now. He has certainly not shown enough to deserve a 90 overall rating, being in the top 100 players in college football. No way. No chance. Also, do we believe that Shadir Sanders is the best quarterback in college football?
No.
Do you believe that Travis Hunter is the best
hype quarterback?
Sure. Do you believe that Travis Hunter is the best wide receiver in college football?
No, should have been Luther. Should have been Luther Burden.
Should have been Luther Burden.
But that's like nitpicking.
Yes.
Like if they wanted to have Hunter and Burden as 95s, like I'm cool. But
Colorado's ratings just drive me nuts. They won 4 games last year. They're the hot, sexy team, and they're like an 89 overall in the game.
I'm fine with Hunter being there because he plays both ways, because he plays both sides of the ball and does it as well, as efficiently, and as much as he does, and just he literally is the Energizer Bunny and never seems to get tired. I am perfectly fine with him being there. I don't think that he is overrated. I am perfectly fine with the argument that
Travis
Shedeur
Hunter,
Sanders
is a far greater injustice to me. Like, I mean,
yes,
it's fine, but he's not the best quarterback in college football. Like that, no. I mean, that's crazy. I mean, I don't know. The Colorado love on this is driving me, in this game in general, is just driving me up the wall. Doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know. I also not in love with how high Devin Neal is. I don't know.
Okay,
I think you think he's a little. Where would you have him?
And here's the problem I have, and it's not so much that I don't like Devin Neal. Like like what was it? Joey McGuire said Taj Brooks is the best running back in the country, and somebody got like mad about that. I was like, that's the dumbest thing you'd say. I was like, there's 5 coaches in the Big 12 who could make a case that they have the best running back in the country, and I'm not going to necessarily argue with them. My problem is it's because my too high and too low go together. It's RJ Harvey is too low. RJ Harvey remains the most underrated running back in the country, and
that's
frankly,
UCF, right?
12.
UCF, right?
Yes,
yeah.
UCF's running back. RJ Harvey is fan-freaking-tastic, and Devin Neal is good. Devin Neal's good, but Devin Neal also has operated like within a committee way more. I think Devin Neal needs to drop down. So if you want to keep him in the top 100 and give him like a 90 rating or an 89 rating, that's fine. RJ Harvey should have the 92. Like, I think he is far better. I would flip-flop them. Every list that's got like top Big 12 running backs always has Neal and never has Harvey. And I'm just like, to me, they've got it backwards. I really like Devin Neal, but I think RJ Harvey is better. And I think RJ Harvey is closer to Taj Brooks. I mean, I think closer to Ollie Gordon.
Kansas is getting a similar. I think Kansas is getting a similar sexy team love to as Colorado is on some of these things.
It's offensive. You have this really great offense. You had this great offensive play caller who's not there anymore. He's at Penn State. We'll see how that looks now. That has elevated some players. And again, I really like Devin Neal. It's not that I don't think he's a good running back. I just think he gets overinflated, and RJ Harvey gets. I don't understand he's just so underrated to me, and I am so much higher on him than I am Devin Neal, and I would flip-flop them. I would move RJ Harvey up significantly, and I would move Devin Neal down closer into like the 80s or 90s if we're going to keep him in the top 100.
Joel, did you have anybody else to add in, or as far as overrated?
I didn't have many other, like Jalen Daniels was mine. I didn't have anybody else on my list because that was just egregious to me.
Yeah.
I'm looking through. Okay, I'll give my non-Big 12 one. My favorite thing, I listen to a lot of fantasy football podcasts because I have some dynasty leagues. Joel's in one of them with me. I do a lot of it. I love listening to it, pre-draft stuff. I'm all about it. And I loved every single fantasy football podcast I listened to that talks about the rookies. Love Xavier Worthy. And they all take a massive dump on Quinn Ewers and blame Xavier Worthy failings, or this is why he's actually good, because Quinn Ewers is actually butt. And every college football and podcast thing, and I have to listen to them talk about like Quinn Ewers is incredible, he's just amazing, he's the best. Who was it on 247 that at one point last year called Quinn Ewers the best quarterback in college football? And I really like him, and I can't think of
was it Fornelli?
It was. Yes, Tom Fornelli at one point.
Tom Fornelli said that when Ewers was a freshman, and he was ass, and he's still ass.
So was Fornelli's
he
take.
Is. I like Fornelli. Fornelli does a good job. He is on these ratings the third highest rated quarterback behind Shedeur Sanders and Carson Beck. No. He's no, absolutely not. Not if we're going to sit here. Like, I've watched enough Quinn Ewers' inability to complete a deep pass to wide open Xavier Worthy to be like, no, he's not. He is. I'll say this. he is more overrated to me, even at 27, than Shedeur Sanders is at 17. Because at least Shedeur Sanders has the excuse of having an offensive line that I could probably start on. I am 40 and skinny and out of shape. Okay? So, like, no. The Quinn Ewers stuff, no.
Look, I'll confess, like, I don't like watch like a ton of like ACC football and shit. There's a lot of these guys I've never heard of. Like,
oh yeah, no,
like I'm looking at here like Orlando Gadsden, a tight end from Syracuse. I don't know.
I've never seen a second of him play.
Never seen his name in my entire life. Is he 91 overall good? I don't know, maybe, but what I know is Syracuse is a terrible football program.
Hey, look, even bad teams have.
I mean, like Colorado State's got a wide receiver on here. Torrey Horton.
Old Dominion has an outside linebacker.
Yeah, Jason Henderson.
I don't know.
Cincinnati's got. Does Cincinnati have two players on
Cincinnati
here?
has a right guard and then Corleone. I don't know who the right, like Luke Kandra.
Yeah, he's good. No. And those are good. They're both good
he may be good. I just don't know. There's a few that like I see a lot of like I don't know. I see a lot of just like random skill position players from the SEC that I've never heard of. Like I'm sure they're good, but I feel like there's a lot of these that are on here just because they play for big schools.
We're gonna have to. Everyone's got this.
Jalen Milroe might be one I would overrate.
Saved, and I cannot wait till they start making the in-season adjustments.
That's gonna be where it's fascinating.
That's gonna be fascinating to watch because like let's just say Travis Hunter has a really bad season. Are they gonna derate their cover athlete? Like below, would they ever? They're not going to touch Travis Hunter. No way.
He's staying like at minimum 90. Like he's not.
They're not dropping him.
He's not dipping below 90.
Okay, so Donovan Edwards, another cover athlete. He's a 91. He doesn't have that far to fall before he falls out of the 90s. Let's say Donovan Edwards really struggles this year now that Jim Harbaugh's gone. Are they going to drop one of their cover athletes into the 80s?
Like I cannot wait to see this list at the end of the season and compare top 100s and be like, let's see how seriously you're taking some of this and how much of it's just.
My guess, if I had to take a shot at this, like having played lots and lots of EA Sports games and just kind of understanding how some of this stuff works, is that I'm going to think we'll probably see maybe 2 ratings adjustments throughout the season, maybe 2. Like I'd say maybe 1 at midseason and 1 after bowl season, or like 1 at the end of the season, maybe. I would guess you see maybe 2, and I would guess for the most part, most things will stay unchanged. Or they'll go up a little bit. I would be shocked if anybody fell more than like 1 or 2, unless like some 88 overall quarterback just has a really awful season or something like Rocco Becht has a shitty season and gets benched for JJ Cole. Maybe they drop him from an 86 to an 80 or something like that. But like for the most part, guys aren't going to move that much. They're just
no, I think it's fair.
They're not.
Anybody who didn't make the list that you think should have been in the top 100?
Noah Fafita should have Jalen Daniels' spot.
That you took mine.
I love Noah Fafita. I loved watching him play last year. I made so much money betting on Arizona last year when the market didn't catch up to them until like week 10. And he's a really, really good player. And there's much more on tape of him being good than Jalen Daniels at this point. So I'd rather have Noah Fafita in that spot.
I agree. That was my name.
But the one. What about Chase Ford? Is he a 90?
Maybe.
That was one that I thought of. I would like, as much as I wish I could say like an Iowa State player got left out, I would say it's probably got a handful of like high 80s players, Ben Bramer, Rocco, Jeremiah Cooper, stuff like. They've probably got a handful of high 80s players or mid to high 80s players, but probably not anyone in the 90s or whatever. But Chase Ford was one I thought of. That was like, I mean, I'm kind of surprised he got left out.
Phillip, what do you think about Brendan Presley? Should he have been a 90?
No.
He's like an 87, 88 guy to me.
Yeah, like he, I mean, it's high 80s. Like, I don't think he was left off this list, like, way down,
No.
I was trying to think of Oklahoma State guys.
Well, and the thing to remember about this too, this is literally just the top 100. There could be a pile more at 90 and 80 that are honestly just they chose to put some people on, kind of like the team rankings too, where it stopped at like 83 or something like that. It's like, I guarantee you, there's a gaggle of teams at 83 and 82 that could easily jump up into that
100%.
top.
There could be another 30 players that are rated 90,
right?
And
right.
So the difference is like 90 point. We got down to 90 point.
Well, no, they're 90, and then they just chose players from sexy teams. I mean, look at if you look at like the 90s specifically,
they put a player from Rutgers in.
They put no. I'm look at the players that are rated 90. I guess I can't see is Corleone a 91 or a 90?
Corleone is a 91.
He's a 91. Okay, so look at the 90s. Jalen Milroe was maybe one I was gonna nominate for an overrated. I think he's fine.
That's fair.
I think he's fine.
That's fair.
Ashton Gillott, I have no idea who that is. Jackson Dart, he's an SEC quarterback. Mitchell Evans is from Notre Dame. Kobe Bryant is kind of from Kansas. Like I said, is kind of the sexy dark horse picks or whatever you want to call it. I mean, these 90s feel like ones that they threw them in there because like they didn't want to leave off Jalen Milroe, who maybe is a fringe 90 overall player or something like that, but they're not going to leave him off of the top 100 players. And they can put an extra Kansas player in there and say, look at this, Kansas has 3 top 100 players, even though Kobe Bryant maybe should be 101 or something like that. When you get to this last end, they kind of just slap some stuff in there, especially just because there's probably a bunch more that are at 90 that could easily be there, but they just chose not to put them on the graphic.
That's fair. Because I was a little bit surprised Cam Rising didn't make the list, and I understand he's got injury issues too. But like we're going,
I don't know. Cam Rising feels like one of those kind of like classic try hard QBs that he's like not super talented, he just kind of gets shit done, which is like a classic like 85, 86 overall quarterback, like that kind of thing. I'm sure he's got like a 99 injury and 99 toughness rating or whatever, but like he just kind of seems like a guy. He's just rock solid. He doesn't have any like really outstanding qualities, but he's just going to be a good like 86 overall type quarterback type of thing. He doesn't strike me as someone that's going to be up in the 90s. Which, what is interesting though, one thing that's worth pointing out is there is nary a 99, 98, or 97 overall in this.
Which I like that.
I love that.
Yes,
I
love that. One,
love it.
it gives guys room to go up or whatever, so they can Ollie Gordon.
And it doesn't make
let's say Ollie Gordon's running
overpowered.
right. So let's say anyone like Ollie Gordon's pushing for 2,000 yards or something like that this season, or maybe he will. I don't know. Whatever. Let's say he's pushing for 2,000 yards. That gives Ollie Gordon room to go up to like a 97 or 98 or something like that. To me, like 97, 98, 99 is reserved for like total legends. Like
that's when you have Joe Burrow all of a sudden like his final year of suddenly like, okay, we're bumping him all the way up to 99 because he's destroying everybody.
Right. Or, like ultimate, like where the cells comes in play is like an ultimate team too, where these base guys, their base cards might start out where other base cards are actually going to start in the 80s probably, but eventually they'll get higher level cards where, Travis Hunter will get a 99 overall card in Ultimate Team at some point, guarantee it, or whatever. Luther Burden will too, or something like that. It's kind of one of those where they want to leave room. It may be intentional too, where they wanted to leave room to eventually make Ollie Gordon a 99, make Will Johnson a 99, or something like that.
I also think about this season, and it's not a shot at any of the players this year, but like there are players in past years, if they were
clear cut better than everybody else,
you would be perfectly fine being like, no, that's a 99. Like if Adrian Peterson was playing this year, you'd be like, Adrian Peterson should be a 99.
05 Reggie Bush.
Right. Michael Vick. Like, okay, that guy. We're just
that guy's
go ahead and put him in.
100%.
That's a guy 99.
Joe Burrow's a 99.
I'm also perfectly fine with the scoring they have because I think it's fair and accurate. Like, well, I don't think we don't know right now that there's like a no. That guy is the best player in college football this year. Yeah, hands down.
That player does not exist this time around right now.
No, not right now. And he will.
They did a slightly more. It's slightly extended up further, but they kind of did a little bit with like what FIFA does, and FIFA does a really nice job with ratings actually because FIFA, the vast majority of like good players in the game are in like the 86 to 92 range. There are a very select few that will jump up to like 93, 94, and like Kylian Mbappe, who is probably the best player in the world right now, is like a 93 or something like that. They leave 95, 96, 98, 99 for like prime Lionel Messi or or like Pele or something like that. They leave him for that group. Sure, Kylian Mbappe may eventually be considered in that same group, but right now he's the best player in the world, but he's like a 93, which gives him lots of room to jump around because in the end, 99 and a 99 overall rating in a football game means you are a god. Like you are a god amongst men type of thing. Now, Madden had a problem for a while where they still do, where they have this 99 club where they've got like 10 guys that are in the 99 club. And at a certain point, everybody's just so high rated that nothing feels special anymore. So like, if you've got Pat Mahomes and Travis Kelce and Devontae Adams and a handful of other people that are all 99 overalls, well, suddenly Pat Mahomes and Travis Kelce and Devontae Adams and Chris McCaffrey don't feel that special anymore because everybody's a 99 or whatever. I think that could happen. That could theoretically happen, I guess, in college football too, where like if you had, let's say they had made Travis Hunter a 99. If there was one guy on this list, I'd be like, oh, they could make him a 99. They could have easily made Travis Hunter a 99 or whatever. Just put his awareness rating at 99, make his speed a 98 or something, some shit like that.
Right.
Whatever. Like they could have easily made him a 99 overall and just made him this god tier player. But Travis Hunter isn't head and shoulders above the rest of college football. He's a unique talent in that he plays both ways and he does so effectively both ways. Is he a 95 overall receiver? I don't know. Is he maybe a 94 overall player? Probably, but he's not a 99 overall player that is head and shoulders above the rest of the conference or above the rest of the country at any one position or even as a total player. So I like that. I like that they capped it at 96 for these initial ratings.
No, I think it was good. I'm like nitpicking about this kind of stuff is for fun. Like,
yeah.
Like if anyone's actually mad about this, go touch grass. Like just go outside, take a breath of fresh air.
Play your dynasty for one season and it'll all change. Like,
meat. All right. This has been fun. You guys, this is awesome. I appreciate it. I should have mentioned this in the beginning and I forgot to. I'm going to plug it right now. Next week is a big week here for the network. We're doing rankings week next week. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. 5 nights in a row every night, 8 p.m. We are going live on our YouTube channel. We've got a slew of guests, both from inside and outside of the network. And we have a different ranking that we're doing every single night. We're going to break them all down live on YouTube. The episodes will drop in audio form the next day. Yes, I'm taking like 2 weeks off from the podcast afterward. I was going to be off this week. We were not going to do an episode, but then, the rankings came out. And I felt the need to do this. And Levi was like, let me. And I was like, well, yeah, it'd be fun to do. Joel and Levi. So we just had some fun here. So I'm very excited about this. A lot of work's been going into this one. I'm excited to. We'll announce it on Twitter and everything. I've kind of teased it some, but I hadn't actually gone all in. So we got, like I said, starting Tuesday night, we're doing top 10 most impactful transfers in the Big 12 on Sunday. Monday, we're ranking all 16 Big 12 coaches. Tuesday are the 12 most important games in the Big 12 of 2024. Wednesday are the most important players, top 10 in the conference. And then Thursday are preseason rankings. I realize the conference already put theirs out, but we're going to do ours that day, hour 1 through 16. I'll actually finally put down on pen and paper 1 through 16. I can do tiers. I'm just 1 through 16 it's at the Big 12, folks. Good luck.
Tiers are just a better way to rank things anyways.
Especially in a conference that has this much depth and it's that little separation from, 1 through.
Because there's 3
11.
tiers. It's the top couple, and then it's a big chunk in the middle, and then everybody else.
I can do 4 tiers. I can break it into 4, but it's more like 1A, 1B. What? Yeah, I know. You
can do one more tier than me, I guess. Okay.
Yeah, that's right. You suck it. Guests include our good friends Joe Broback, Adam Eaton of Sons of UCF, Shahan J. Araja going to join us, Justin Williams of The Athletic, Drake Toll, Joe Goodman. We got a whole slew of people coming in. So that starts Sunday night, so make sure you are subscribed to us on YouTube so that you don't miss any of those. We'll be dropping links. We'll be teasing it aggressively. Seriously, I'm gonna just pump that stuff out for 2 weeks afterwards and not do an episode for a couple weeks and enjoy some peace before the season begins. And then I've got some ideas for shows prepped and ready to go. We got great guests lined up for after that and got great ideas we're going to do. And there'll be some changes to things this season. But Rankings week starts on Sunday night, so be there. Thank you to today's guests, our good friend Levi Stevenson. Y'all go. If you don't know what Wide Right Natty Light is already, I assume you've either are new to the Big 12, have been in a coma for a very long time, in which case we're glad that you're back with us, or you have on purpose been like, I don't know what that is, but I don't want to know. I don't want to know what it is.
Respect.
You should go and check out.
I respect that.
Light.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm perfectly fine if you're like, no.
You just look at it and say, not for me. I get it. It's fine.
There is a Discord channel. You should go and join. It's a ton of fun. I hop in when I can. We have a little 1012 Network channel in there as well. So go and check that out. Joel, your stuff is all the Orioles. No, I'm doing it on purpose. But, sir, please, for the potential Kansas City Royals fans out there, where can they check you out?
Yeah, wherever you get your podcasts, check out One Royal Way, a weekly show talking about the Kansas City Royals for Kansas City Sports Network. And if you are a fan of, I don't know, any Kansas City sports, maybe Royals, Chiefs, Sporting Kansas City Current, and any colleges locally as well, be sure to check us out over there. And yeah, a lot of good stuff going on, and be sure to check us out.
Joe will always be happy to share his pessimistic Oklahoma State perspectives.
Oh, get ready. It's coming. Oh, I'm going to be a mess when we play freaking South Dakota State. I'm going to hate every minute of it.
How terrible is it that Iowa State and Oklahoma State are not playing this year?
It sucks.
Awful.
Yeah. Like
it sucks big time.
It is. I don't like not playing Kansas State, Iowa State, and Kansas every year. Like that. Iowa State and
Oklahoma State has been one of, if not the most competitive matchup in the Big 12 for the last
consistently
decade.
Yes,
easily the last best matchup for the last decade. No question about
it. There has not. I did the numbers at one point. I think like
there's only like 9 out of 10 games are one score games. Like,
yeah,
they're always ridiculous games. They're not even like boring one score games. They're always just stupid crazy games.
No, back and forth. The team that's not supposed to win wins like all the time.
Every time.
It's an incredible series that should be played.
We don't play Oklahoma State this year, and then we don't play Kansas State next year.
3 annual rivalries.
Kill me.
That's all they should. They should just do it that way. We'll figure it out. Maybe if Jamie
just
Pollard
let all the old Big Six schools play each other. Make that whole original six, like in hockey. Make the original six play each other all the time.
That's fine with me. Hey, if we get it was Kleiman who mentioned going to a round number of conference games, whether it be 8 or 10. No, I know that's the thing he always feels because everyone hates the 5 road game year where they have to go on the road 5 times in conference play. When I don't disagree, like just play 10 conference games and play 2 whatever.
It's either 8 or 10. 8 is not enough, and 10 is way too many. 10's a lot. If we went to 10 games, Iowa State would have to very seriously look at discontinuing the Iowa series.
If they're going to go, if this conference grows to if they add in 4 more teams, screw out of conference P4 games. Just play 10 conference games.
Yeah.
And an FCS, a G5, and 10 conference games.
I think that we could discuss this on a different podcast. I think that idea sucks.
Okay, that's fine. And I know why it sucks, and I don't necessarily agree that it sucks. But if we're going to have a conference that big,
it's homogeneity. I don't know. You're playing the same schedule every year, where you're playing FCS A, FCS B conference. I don't know. The cross pollination is what makes college football cool.
Sunday night, YouTube Live. We'll be there. You be there. We're gonna have a lot of fun. We'll talk to y'all then.
Sports Social Podcast Network.